Welcome back to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're stepping into something pretty revolutionary, I think. We're not just sorting through sources.
No, definitely not.
We're looking at a potential scientific shift that could change, well, everything you think you know about consciousness, your body, maybe even your own mind.
That's right. We're diving deep today into this incredible convergence. Think quantum physics, neuroscience, and, get this, microbiology.
Microbiology.
Yeah. Our mission, really, is to unpack some groundbreaking research. It suggests consciousness might not just be, locked up in our brains, but maybe it's a much broader, distributed quantum biological thing involving our gut microbes.
Gut microbes. Wow. Okay. So ancient wisdom meets super modern science.
That's exactly it. It's a fascinating intersection.
All right, let's try and unpack that. This foundational idea, it's pretty radical, isn't it? Consciousness isn't just the brain.
Right. That's the core shift.
Our sources are pointing to this new frontier, basically connecting quantum theories, quantum relational theories, with gut microbiome science.
Yeah, it sounds almost like science fiction.
It really does. But the data is starting to pile up, suggesting maybe it's not so fictional.
And the central claim here is what's so compelling. Consciousness as a distributed quantum biological process.
Right.
Deeply tangled up with our microbial partners. I mean, that totally challenges the traditional view, the brain as command center model.
Suggests something much more integrated.
Exactly. More integrated, more complex than we ever really thought.
Okay, and this next bit, this is where it gets really mind-bending for me. Because for ages, scientists basically said quantum effects, too fragile.
The standard line.
They couldn't possibly survive in, the warm, wet, messy environment of a living thing.
Right, the warm, wet, and noisy problem.
But new research is just,
Yeah, well,
it's blowing that idea out of the water, isn't it?
it really seems to be.
Yeah.
The question of quantum effects in biology has had some pretty decisive recent answers.
Like what?
Well, University of Chicago researchers, Greg Engel's team, they showed green sulfur bacteria don't just, put up with quantum mechanics.
Yeah.
They actively use it.
Use it? How?
It's something called vibronic mixing, basically a quantum effect, where light energy and molecular vibrations kind of merge,
Okay.
allowing the bacteria to direct energy flow super efficiently depending on the environment.
So it's not just quantum stuff surviving, it's actually helping them, an evolutionary advantage.
Precisely. It's quantum mechanics being leveraged for survival.
That's amazing. It reminds me of, Schrodinger's cat. Is there a Schrodinger's bacterium, too? I think I read something about that.
Huh. You're spot on. Yeah, that comes from an Oxford study by quantum physicist Chiara Marletto.
Okay.
They found the first sort of indirect evidence suggesting bacteria could be entangled with photons.
Entangled? Seriously?
Yeah, it looked like these green sulfur bacteria could simultaneously hit and miss photosynthetic molecules.
Which is a hallmark of quantum weirdness, right?
Exactly. Entanglement. Now, it's important to say the evidence is circumstantial for now. Needs more work.
Right.
But the Oxford team is actually planning experiments, hoping to directly entangle two bacteria by 2024.
Wow. That would be definitive.
It would be huge proof, yes.
But, okay, the big question then is timing. How long can these quantum states, this weirdness, actually last inside a living cell? That's always been the sticking point.
It's a critical question.
Yeah.
And we do have some numbers. Research on quantum coherence.
That's its ability to stay quantum-like.
Right. It shows persistence for at least 300 femtoseconds.
Which sounds incredibly short.
It is incredibly short, a tiny fraction of a second. But crucially, this is at physiological temperatures, body temperature, in these bacterial energy transfer complexes.
Huh. Still seems brief, but maybe long enough for biology to use?
Possibly.
Yeah.
And there's more. Other studies show bacteria like E. coli react really fast to temperature changes, like shifting to 37 Celsius, our body temp. They trigger massive gene expression changes, suggesting these quantum effects might be woven into their survival toolkit, even at human body heat.
So what does this all mean for you listening? I mean, this isn't just abstract physics. It's potentially happening inside living things. Inside us, maybe?
It means we're just scratching the surface. We absolutely need to validate these findings rigorously.
Right. Caution is needed.
Definitely.
Wow.
A big 2020 review, for example, questioned some claims about long-lived coherences. So the field needs ongoing, tough experimental proof.
But the implications?
The implications are profound, yeah, suggesting a deeper quantum layer to life itself.
Okay, so quantum weirdness potentially inside us.
Yeah.
That's one massive piece. Now let's shift gears. What about the gut? We all talk about gut feelings, right?
Mhm.
But the sources we looked at suggest it's way, way more than just a metaphor.
Oh, absolutely. The old idea of consciousness being purely a brain thing. It's
Yeah.
being seriously challenged by evidence pointing to distributed systems,
Distributed how?
particularly this thing called the gut-brain microbiome axis.
Huh.
Research from places like Johns Hopkins shows the enteric nervous system, that network of nerves in your gut.
The second brain, they call it.
Exactly. It has over 100 million neurons. It's not just digesting, it's directly influencing decisions.
So those gut feelings, they're real signals.
They seem to be. Interoceptive signals coming from the gut contributing to intuition, decision-making, and most of that communication doesn't even reach our conscious awareness.
And it's not just about internal feelings, right? It actually affects how we interact with the world, our social lives.
Precisely. This is fascinating. There's research from a long-term project, the Mbossali Baboon Research Project. 15 years they studied them.
Okay.
And they found the baboons' social grooming habits directly predict how similar their gut microbes are.
Wait, really? More grooming buddies means more similar gut bacteria.
Yeah. More social animals had more diverse microbiomes, too. It suggests a direct social microbial link. Even in humans, families share distinct microbial auras, unique microbial signatures that you can identify and even transfer.
Microbial auras. Wow.
And maybe the most striking bit, germ-free mice raised with no microbes, they have severe social problems.
Which makes sense if microbes are involved.
But you can restore their social behavior by giving them specific bacteria, particularly one called Enterococcus faecalis.
Okay, hold on. This means these tiny passengers inside us are literally shaping our social interactions. How? What's the mechanism there?
It's complex, but we're figuring it out. Gut bacteria actually produce neuroactive compounds.
Like brain chemicals.
Exactly. Things like GABA, serotonin precursors, dopamine precursors. These chemicals travel or signal to the brain and can directly affect mood, chemistry, decision-making.
And how do they get the message there?
The vagus nerve is a key highway. It's a massive nerve connecting the gut and brain. And interestingly, about 80% of the signals travel from the gut to the brain.
80%. Wow, it's mostly bottom-up communication then.
A huge amount, yeah. And we see correlations. Higher microbiome diversity often links to better emotional regulation, better social skills,
And the reverse, social isolation.
reduces microbiome diversity, and seems to impair social cognitive abilities. So think about this. Your social life impacts your gut, and your gut impacts your social life.
It's a feedback loop.
It really is.
Yeah.
So for you, the listener, it means your social connections aren't just mental or emotional, they're deeply biological, right down to your microbes. We're not just social animals. Maybe we're social holobionts.
Social holobionts, I like that.
Okay.
So we've got quantum effects in tiny bacteria, and we've got this massive influence of the gut on our brain, our mood, our social lives. Are these connected? Is anyone trying to bridge these? Maybe through quantum information.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And yes, that's exactly what several new theoretical frameworks are suggesting. They're starting to treat biological systems like, well, quantum information processors.
Okay, like computers, but quantum.
In a way, yeah. Matthew Fisher at UC Santa Barbara has this quantum brain hypothesis.
Uh-huh.
He proposes that phosphorus atoms, maybe clustered in these things called Posner molecules within our neurons, could act like biological qubits.
Qubits, quantum bits, the basis of quantum computing.
Right. And he suggests their nuclear spin properties might let them hold a quantum state-maintained coherence for hours, maybe even days.
Hours or days, that's way longer than femtoseconds.
Much longer. And potentially, entanglement between these could affect how neurons release neurotransmitters. It's theoretical, but provocative.
And what about the brain itself? Theories about quantum stuff happening in the brain. I'm always fascinated by the ORCHA-R theory. Can you unpack that a bit?
Sure. ORCHA-R, Orchestrated Objective Reduction. That's Stuart Hameroff, an anesthesiologist, and Roger Penrose, the physicist.
Right. Penrose, the Nobel laureate.
Their idea is that microtubules, these tiny protein tubes inside neurons, might actually function as quantum computers.
Quantum computers inside our brain cells.
That's the proposal. And there's some, again, indirect experimental support. Drugs that stabilize microtubules seem to affect how anesthetics work.
Suggesting microtubules are involved in consciousness somehow.
Exactly. And the updated theory talks about beat frequencies from microtubule vibrations possibly being the source of EEG brainwaves, the electrical patterns associated with consciousness.
It's kind of mind-blowing. The universe as a computer, our bodies as computers, It really shifts your perspective, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. You look at someone like Seth Lloyd at MIT. He views the universe itself as a giant quantum computer processing information.
Okay.
And he points to examples like photosynthesis in plants, where quantum effects boost energy transfer efficiency dramatically. It implies biological systems are quantum information processors at the molecular level.
They're harnessing quantum mechanics.
Right, using things like environment-assisted quantum transport. There's even work by Ivan Georgievich using quantum information theory, specifically quantum channel capacity calculations, to model how information flows from DNA to proteins.
So the big takeaway here for the listener is our bodies might not just be these classical biological machines we thought they were.
Exactly. They might be incredibly sophisticated quantum computers, processing information in ways we're only just starting to imagine. It's a fundamental challenge to the classical view of life.
This really feels like it's more than just separate bits of research. It feels like puzzle pieces clicking together into something much bigger.
I think that's right. We're seeing this unprecedented integration, quantum physics, neuroscience, microbiology, consciousness studies. They're all starting to talk to each other.
And yielding new ideas?
Absolutely. Take Federico Fagan, one of the pioneers of the microprocessor.
Oh, wow.
He's proposed a really revolutionary theory that qualia are subjective experiences, like the redness of red or the feeling of pain.
The hard problem of consciousness stuff.
Exactly. He suggests maybe qualia don't arise from classical brain activity, but reside in underlying quantum fields.
Whoa. So consciousness is fundamental, quantum mechanical.
That's his view. Consciousness as a fundamental quantum phenomenon, and the physical world we see is more like a symbolic representation of that deeper quantum reality.
So you, the sense of self, could be far more than just your brain activity in a really profound physical way.
That's where some of this thinking leads. There's the holobiont consciousness model, for example.
Holobiont, that word again, the human plus microbes unit?
Right. This model suggests consciousness doesn't just emerge from our human cells, but from the entire holobiont, the integrated system of us and our trillions of microbial partners.
Challenging the brain-only idea head-on.
Completely. It suggests consciousness arises from the whole brain-gut microbiome axis, with this constant back-and-forth chatter between our nerves and our microbes shaping cognition.
Okay, if consciousness is potentially this broad quantum microbial thing, what about free will? Does this give us a new angle on that huge philosophical debate?
Well, some frameworks try to address that. Henry Stapp's quantum interactive dualism is one.
How does that work?
It positions consciousness as an active selector. It suggests top-level brain processing involves quantum superposition states, multiple possibilities existing at once. And consciousness, through a quantum measurement-like process, selects one outcome. He even proposes quantum events in neurotransmitter released at the synapse could be the physical basis for this choice, for free will.
So mind interacting with matter via quantum mechanics.
That's the idea. It offers a potential scientific framework anyway for how consciousness or mind could genuinely influence physical events in the brain.
What strikes me as truly astonishing, though, is how many of these really cutting-edge scientific ideas seem to, well, echo ancient philosophies, like they knew something intuitively.
There is a remarkable convergence happening there, especially between ancient Eastern ideas about, say, gut-centered awareness or interconnectedness and these modern findings.
Can you give an example?
Sure. There was a study comparing 37 Tibetan Buddhist monks with 19 secular controls.
Okay.
The monks, who practiced meditation for 2+ hours daily, sometimes for decades, they had dramatically different gut microbiomes.
Different.
Enriched in beneficial bacteria like Prevotella, Bacteroidetes, Megamonas, Ficalobacterium, genera often linked to lower anxiety, depression, even better cardiovascular health.
So the spiritual practice had a measurable biological microbial effect.
A clear, measurable difference, yes.
That's incredible, just from meditating.
It seems so. And another study looked at people on a 9-day intensive arhatic yoga meditation retreat. Within just days, their gut microbiomes shifted rapidly.
Towards what?
Towards enrichment in health-promoting microbes again. Things like Ruminococcus, Ficalobacterium again, Akkermansia, Bifidobacterium, bacteria known to produce short-chain fatty acids.
Which are crucial for the gut-brain axis, right?
Exactly. Vital for that communication pathway.
So it's like contemplative science is providing hard data that validates these ancient practices.
Yes, precisely. Eastern philosophy's emphasis on interconnectedness. It finds a fascinating echo in quantum entanglement research.
Right.
And these traditional practices that focus on gut awareness or mindful breathing. We're seeing they have measurable effects on the microbiome. Contemplative science is validating this old wisdom about mind-body integration.
And maybe the mechanisms involve these quantum biological links we've been discussing.
That's a very strong possibility. Meditation, for instance, is known to reduce stress hormones, which disrupt the microbiota. It also boosts the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system, which helps maintain a healthy gut barrier.
This is all fascinating theoretically, but you mentioned treatments. This isn't just academic, is it? It sounds like it could lead to revolutionary ways to improve health.
Oh, absolutely. The convergence of quantum biology and microbiome science opens up truly unprecedented therapeutic avenues.
Like what? What are we talking about?
Well, for starters, targeted probiotic strains. They're developing specific bacteria as psychobiotics.
Psychobiotics. For mental health.
Exactly. For treating depression, anxiety, maybe even cognitive disorders. Then there's microbiota transfer therapy.
That's like a fecal transplant, right?
Essentially, yes. And it's showing real promise for conditions like autism spectrum disorders. Even dietary changes focused on boosting microbiome diversity look promising for preventing age-related cognitive decline. It's a whole new toolkit.
Could this lead to truly personalized medicine, like analyzing my specific gut microbes and prescribing something tailored just for me?
That's the vision. Precisely. Imagine using your individual microbiome profile to predict your risk for, say, social anxiety or depression.
And
Then designing personalized probiotic treatments based on your unique microbial signature. Integrating microbiome analysis into mental health checks. That's a huge paradigm shift.
towards treating the whole person, the holobiont.
Exactly. Toward these embodied holistic approaches. Centers like Keio University's Bio2Q Center in Japan are already doing this, combining biology, microbiome research, and quantum computing to understand these complex interactions.
So looking ahead, what's on the horizon? Where does this go next?
The future looks incredibly exciting. Think quantum-enhanced probiotics, engineering microbes using quantum principles, precision microbiome medicine, using our deeper understanding of quantum effects for better targeting, and maybe even quantum biocomputing, using bacterial systems themselves as components of future computers.
Okay, that future sounds amazing. A world where we understand ourselves and heal in totally new ways. But let's be realistic. What are the big hurdles? This can't be easy.
You're absolutely right. It's an emerging field, and the challenges are significant. Decoherence is still a major one.
Maintaining those fragile quantum states in the body's environment.
Exactly. It limits how long the effects can last. And just proving that an effect is genuinely quantum, not just complex classical physics, in a messy biological system, that's experimentally really hard.
Yeah, I can imagine.
There's also the sheer scale difference between tiny quantum events and larger biological processes.
Right.
Bridging that gap needs more investigation. And honestly, direct proof of quantum information processing, specifically in the gut-brain axis, that's still quite limited.
So lots more research needed, rigorous validation, as you said earlier. There's excitement, but also healthy scientific debate.
Absolutely critical. The field needs continued, tough experimental work and better theories to really fulfill its potential for medicine, biotech, and just our basic understanding of life.
But there are promising signs, right? It's not all challenges.
Oh, definitely. Promising developments are popping up all the time. We do have growing evidence for room temperature quantum effects in biological systems.
Right.
We see quantum coherence lasting for microseconds now in some biological molecules, which is much longer than femtoseconds. We've seen entanglement demonstrated in biological structures. And there's mounting experimental support for quantum processes being involved in things like anesthesia and consciousness.
So it's early days, but the needle is moving.
The needle is definitely moving. It feels like the beginning of something big.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for you listening to this deep dive? It feels like it fundamentally reshapes how we might think about consciousness, doesn't it? Moving it way beyond just the brain.
I think that's the key point. This emerging science suggests consciousness might not be solely localized in our neurons. Instead, it could arise from these incredibly complex quantum processes distributed across the entire biological system.
The brain, the gut, the microbiome.
And maybe even their interactions with underlying quantum fields. It's potentially one of the most significant shifts in neuroscience and psychology in decades.
With huge implications.
Profound implications for understanding how we think, how we behave socially, and how we might develop completely new therapies.
It really does feel like we're watching the birth of a new scientific paradigm, one that kind of beautifully seems to honor both the insights of ancient wisdom and the rigor of modern quantum physics.
That's a great way to put it. And if you connect it all to the bigger picture, well, as our experiments get better and our theories mature, we might just find that the ultimate key to understanding consciousness isn't just in the brain's complexity alone,
But where?
but maybe in this quantum-enhanced symphony played by our entire microbial neural quantum ecosystem.
A quantum enhanced symphony. That is a powerful thought to end on. So, for you, the listener, what does it mean for your understanding of yourself if your very consciousness, your being, is this intricate symphony? Played by your whole body, down to the quantum level, in concert with the trillions of microbes living within you. Something to ponder, keep exploring, keep questioning. And join us next time for another deep dive.